Wagner. Alex, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I'm here in the building.
Yes, I love it. You just heard Donald Trump, President-elect, say that there would be consequences for businesses if they plan to move those jobs overseas. Does this kind of set a precedent, this deal with Carrier, or is this something that companies have been doing for a while anyway?
Well, state-based tax incentives are definitely something that's been happening across the country, but I think it's rare and maybe unprecedented to have the president or incoming president of the United States so publicly negotiate a deal like this. And I think the concern you hear from groups across the political spectrum, including, for example, the Wall Street Journal editorial board, is what kind of precedent does this set? It is such a high-profile thing that has happened in the nascent stages of the administration. What does it mean going forward? And I'm sure there are a lot of companies that are grappling with some of the same issues that United Technologies is and are thinking, is this a playbook?
I know. Is it something where these companies then are going to call Donald Trump and say, hey, I want to be next. I want the publicity.
Sure. I mean, why not? the part of the sort of press interest around this and the media opportunity that Trump's created does, if you are a company and you want the same sort of benefits, we're not quite sure exactly what the deal was.
Is that interesting to you, by the way, that
sure,
we don't know the deal?
We don't know the deal
several days now.
And I think, look, when you're talking about tax incentives or you're talking, I mean, there was a lot of talk on the campaign trail about crony capitalism. If there is concern, as has been raised, again, across the political spectrum about what exactly the deal was, I think transparency is sort of incumbent upon the administration at this particular moment.
Something else I want to ask you about, Donald Trump's cabinet. Last night at his big rally in Cincinnati, he made this announcement, and he did it in an interesting way, but he said that he was picking retired General James Mattis for his defense secretary, but he kind of baited the media a little bit and turned it into this, we're not really announcing it till Monday. What do you make of his pick and the announcement itself?
I mean, are we surprised that
not
it's
at all?
Also
I'm really not.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I think probably for Trump, this part of the process is the most delicious, given, the kind of reality TV he's trafficked in for so many years.
And he seemed to enjoy it.
Yes, I think he's enjoying this immensely,
yeah.
Right? I think Mattis is an interesting figure. I think that the question over, civilians leading the military and the Defense Department is a significant one. You're already hearing some pushback from Senator Kirsten Gillibrand about that. But there seems to be more bipartisan accord on this pick as opposed to other picks that the administration or the incoming administration has suggested. So for that reason alone, I tend to think this is not going to be a particularly difficult one to get confirmed.
Well, he has a very good track record. He's somebody that people seem to like very, very much here. So
right. I mean, we're hearing, Mad Dog.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of sort of in the most, this season has been one of almost the Hollywoodization of politics. Mattis seems a character almost out of central casting, a phrase we're hearing a lot when we talk about Donald Trump's picks.
The interesting part about the conversations that he and Donald Trump had, though, in the early stages of Donald Trump's campaign, you heard Donald Trump talk about waterboarding. Then he meets with Mattis, who says, I don't think this really works. And then there was a change of tune.
Yeah, well, we've seen that on a couple of different fronts. I mean, there's been a lot of, the president had conversations with Donald Trump, President Obama, and he seemed to move on certain issues, whether that's the Iran nuclear deal, whether it's the full repeal of Obamacare. We're not quite sure where he stands on a number of really significant policy issues. I don't think it's that surprising that the torture waterboarding thing is maybe getting put to the side, insofar as not only is Mattis not an advocate, but the entire military infrastructure and the scientific community has really come out against it.
Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. I know you'll be talking politics on CBS this morning, Saturday.
We will.
But what else do you have going on?
We have
a little bit of something for everybody.
We have an amazing package. I'm using the industry
the story.
We have a great story about Annie Leibovitz, the wonderful photographer, who's doing a sort of follow-up to her seminal her series Women, and it's a series of portraits of incredibly powerful women, whether it's Sheryl Sandberg or Malala Yousafzai, and the exhibit is traveling to a women's former women's prison in New York, and it really calls attention to a lot of issues around women in society, women in the criminal justice system.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
She's such an amazing
She's
photographer.
super talented, and just looking at those photographs is like, it energizes you to a certain degree.
Oh, can't wait for that. Alex Wagner, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.